anyone in the SMMA needs, this is how you blow up. Zeros to your first 100K is literally these two things. Closed in a month with 70 clients. It's almost impossible that you won't get to your first 100K a month. Focus on the things that you know for a fact right now is gonna move the needle.
Can I get to 10K a month? Am I worth it? Should I do it?
It's not that freaking hard. You're not gonna build a 9-figure SMMA, I'm sorry to tell you. Yesterday you were asking me, how do I make 100 million? I was like, how do you make 1,000? All the success that you have been waiting for is simply one decision away.
We got the legend himself, Sergio Tavares, in the house. For those of you guys that don't know Sergio, he is my business partner in all of our businesses. Everyone sees, my success on the internet, but a lot of that is credited to Sergio Tavares. He's been with me for a few years now, right?
Yeah, 3-4 years? Three
or 4 years. So, Sergio, why don't you tell us your story? Let's go way back to, how did you start your agency? I know you started going door to door in New York City, and then how did we link up and how did we get here? Because I know you have a pretty amazing story, and then we'll get into some questions.
All right, so I grew up in New York, which wound up being a blessing and a curse, because dude, in New York, you get to see these big, crazy, illustrious buildings with like the glitz and the glamour and all these billionaires and all this stuff. But then you got to go back home to like your broke, bunker on the floor, right?
Damn.
Yeah. But I remember one day, this is kind of how I started the agency. So I used to sell consulting services. I would just go door to door. This is so weird. I would go door to door and find out what they wanted, and I would genuinely just offer them that. And I kind of was like a middleman. If they told me they wanted a website, I would sell it and then find someone else who could fulfill on it. I didn't know about the SMMA model. I didn't know about consulting.
So you thought you created it. There's a funny story. Sergio told me one day, he's like, I thought I created SMMA.
I swear on my life, I believed I created SMMA. Here's what happened. So I knocked on this guy's door from 5th Avenue, New York, or Park Avenue, New York. His name is Dr. Joseph Pulber. I knocked on his door. He didn't let me in, right? The front desk was like, no, fuck that. And I came back like an hour later, I hung out for Starbucks, and I came back, I like changed like my face or whatever. And I went back in there, and I went to the back, and I got in, and I sat at his desk, and I was like, hey man, I'm gonna be your new consultant, helping you out, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, well, first things first, like give me some context. What do you need help with? And he says, oh, I would love some help with our social media marketing. We've got guys that are competitors that are doing Facebook ads. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. We just started offering Facebook ads. I'm not even kidding. This is legitimately a true story. We just started.
So you never knew Facebook ads?
Never did Facebook ads. So I pitched him on $2,500 services. I wound up getting the deal, signed like a contract with him. And later on that night, or it might have been the next morning, I go on YouTube and I'm typing in how to do Facebook ads for plastic surgeons. And at that moment, I was like, wow, I didn't call it social media marketing, but I thought I created social media marketing.
You're like, I launched Facebook ads.
I thought I was the first one.
I created Facebook ads.
I knew Facebook ads were out because he told me he had a competitor that was doing Facebook ads, but
there was nothing back then.
There was no coaching. Yeah. There was no.
You go on YouTube and it was like Facebook ads, and it'd be someone teaching you like the ads manager, but not for local businesses.
That was Ty Lopez, no?
Here's what happened. So I was like, okay, I closed him on $2,500 going door to door, selling freaking marketing services. And I think it was the next day I started Google or YouTubing how to create Facebook ads for plastic surgeons. Within the freaking hour, I got hit with that Ty Lopez SMMA course that we all know about. And that's when it smacked me in the face like, okay, I definitely did not create social media marketing. It was not me.
But when you went home, you were like, yo, I'm number one.
I literally told my mom, I was like, Mom, I have this new service. It's crazy. Everyone freaking wants it. Like no one's selling it. And figured out how to launch Facebook ads for him. I wasn't the best at it, but got it done. And he wound up leaving me the very first month and actually charged back.
Really?
Damn.
Yeah, dude.
That's fucked.
He charged because I didn't know what the heck I was doing. I didn't know what I was doing. Funny story though, he came back like maybe 6-8 months later and he re-signed up with us again, which goes to show that in business, if you just maintain a relationship with clients, you're going to win. And most people, especially in the SMMA space, because we're all online, there's no handshaking. They just burn bridges, they burn relationships, and there's only so many people in your niche, right? Let's say you're working with chiropractors, there's 30, 40,000 chiropractors. If you continue to screw over more and more chiropractors, then what happens, right? It's like one chiropractor goes off and tells 5 other chiropractors, and those 5 chiropractors say, hey, don't work with X, Y, and Z marketing company, let it go. And the next thing you know, you're wondering why your ads can't work because you've built a bad reputation online.
So how do you go from, and by the way, for everyone watching this, Sergio is one of the goats of sales and business. Like I've never seen anyone with such a high EQ and ability to close. Like you're going door to door selling marketing services, which is insane. How do you go from that to then scaling a multi-7-figure agency in the home services niche? What was that story?
So
And walk us through everything. I want you to tell them about the direct mail you were doing, the cold emailing, how you fired 80% of your clients to go all in on one niche.
So here's what happened.
After you hit 100K.
If I were to sit here and say we didn't scale it pretty quick, I would feel like I'm lying, because we actually did scale it pretty quick, but we scaled it the wrong way.
What you mean?
I was in every single niche, selling every single service. I took
stem cell, dentists,
freaking
roofers,
you
everything.
name the niche. We were really good at getting appointments and closing appointments, and then the delivery was so complex because for every niche that we got into, I had to learn a new fulfillment method, right? And I was acquiring clients through direct mail, cold email, a little bit of like Facebook ads. We were doing voicemail drops. We were like going on people's websites and just filling out the contact us form. So we had so much like output, like just that.
Outbound.
Just output. I think it's just output. We just flooded the market. I remember telling my my sales guys, like the goal is whenever we penetrate every week. I don't think I told you this. Every single week we were choosing a new niche. Not even kidding. Every single week I would start Monday. I was like, all right, guys, this week, I'm not even kidding, guys. I would start Monday. All right, guys, we're gonna go out to stem cell, and I would tell them, and between now and the next 7 days, I want every single stem cell doctor to know my name. Why? Because if they know you, then they could send you money, right? They're more likely to send you money. And I did scale to like about, I want to say 80 something K a month with multiple different niches, multiple different offers. And then I wound up firing like most of my clients.
Well, then that's when we started to really become friends. So Sergio and I, we actually met in a Facebook group. Mm-hmm. So, and it's what's funny is, you know, Sergio, the person who discovered Facebook ads didn't even have a Facebook.
Literally sold Facebook
The one who
ads.
claims he figured out who discovered Facebook
Not even
ads.
kidding you guys. You guys go look it up. Go look on my Facebook. I sold Facebook ads before even having a Facebook account. I had no Facebook
When I
account.
first found out about Sergio, because I saw him, we were both in a coaching program with one of our mentors, Nick Robbins. He was the only person in the game who literally opened up his bank account and showed me, yo, I've actually make money with agency. And I was like, Nick, I'll pay you whatever the fuck you want. This is one of the only good mentor, like one of the best mentors we both had, and we were both in his program. He doesn't offer agency coaching anymore, but he scaled his agency to 8 figures and exited.
Damn.
And what's funny is I see Sergio posting all these wins, and he sees me posting all these wins. We were probably the top 2 people
Guys,
in that program. And what's really interesting is I hit up Sergio and I'm like, yo, 50-50, this guy's a scammer. Because if you go on his profile, there's like one picture. That's it. And it was like created a year ago. You know when you can go on someone's profile and it's like they don't have any history?
Very, very true.
So I'm like, all right, well, let's get on a call, see if someone actually picks up or see if I'm getting catfished. And obviously, he's a real person. He picks up. Then we both realized we're trying to crack the code on cold email. And we just started sharing all the secrets. I started sharing everything that I know about the agency game. He started sharing everything that he knew about the agency game. I was a lot better at fulfillment systems. He was a lot better at sales, outbound, setting and closing appointments. And we really just hit it off. Fast forward maybe a year or 2 later, I started my program after I had really crushed it. At that point, Sergio was doing 80 to 100K a month. And Sergio's like, dude, I just want your systems. And I was kind of Jewish. And I was like, yo, here, buy my
Keep
program.
in mind, we
were
had
we were really good friends.
We had given each other information already. We had done deals.
So he was literally helping me with everything. I was like, hey, buy my program.
Then he's like, you need help with systems? I'll sell them to you. I was like, all right, whatever.
Yeah, but you know what makes Sergio such a good sales rep? He's also such a good buyer.
I buy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bro, I tell Sergio now, if he's hopping on someone's sales call,
He will literally
you're
text
not
me,
allowed to
don't
buy
buy it yet.
You're not allowed to
Don't buy yet. He knows
until we talk about it.
He absolutely knows I'm a buyer.
Because Sergio will just give him his credit card.
Yep.
Bro, I'm a buyer too. I just bought stuff recently too.
We need to sell him something.
I'm pretty sure
Something.
if you pitch me and you're like, it makes sense, I probably buy.
So
Yeah.
here, just to kind
So
of
then we met. Yeah. So,
just to kind of wrap it up, here's what wound up happening. I noticed that business. I realized that business couldn't scale. Now, keep in mind,
Yeah.
that wasn't the first business I had, right? So I had the self-confidence to know I could do it all over again.
yeah. Keep in mind, you've been in the game now since you started your first venture when you were a teenager.
Literally a teenager, yeah. I was
So
like,
everyone sees like Sergio today, Sergio going door to door, but like you had already been selling.
I had already been doing deals. I had already been like, I was in rooms with people doing multiple 7 figures when I was a teenager. And I was like, okay, I think it helps you understand that everything is possible if you put your mind to it. But 80-ish, 90K a month, whatever. I decided to fire most of my clients. I just kept like,
This is after you signed up for my program, even though we were very close friends. I should have just hooked you up.
For how much did you close them for?
It was 6K because back then.
Discount or was that discount?
No,
price?
back then I did first 20 people to sign up, got a 4K discount.
Yeah.
And then he was one of the first. I was like, yo, I hit up my network first. I was like, yo, I'm launching this program. Sergio just wanted my systems. As soon as Sergio comes in my program, he realizes, shit, I can't really build a scalable machine if I have all these different niches. So what happened next?
and also this, before I dive into, like, you guys should invest in as many programs as you can. Around that time, I had also invested like 5K in a different program, like 4K and 3K in a different program. It wasn't about the programs. I just was a big believer that in order for you to get, you have to put out.
Yeah.
You have to put out. It's like the law. Even if nothing else, it just forces you to like feel like you're back against the wall, right? Because I was like, if I really wanted to figure out systems, I could. I just need to put some money in the game, like skin in the game.
That makes sense.
So
Financial accountability.
for sure.
One of the biggest hacks to getting shit done is not pressure from your friends, not level up your environment, not like
Put your money where your mouth is.
Yeah, you got to just put your money where your mouth is and create financial accountability. If you literally put your money on the line, you're much more likely to take action. When you pay attention, and when you pay, there's pain. And then the pain of not doing something after you've paid is greater than just doing the thing because you have more to lose.
Yep.
That's hard.
So to wrap
I
things
know, I
up,
said it perfectly for, repurposes for later.
that's why I stay quiet. So to wrap it up, so we can move on. I fired most of my
and
clients.
add that clip of Tony saying that's hard. Add that in too.
I fired most of my clients, and I just kept like a handful of clients, and I decided to scale it again, but the right way. And
So what happened? You fired a lot of clients.
I literally called them.
I remember Sergio calling me and being like,
Yeah, I'm firing all my clients.
and I was like, what?
Because I
said, are you sure?
I had a different business. So here's actually what happened. I had a different business that was also doing okay. So not only did I fire all my clients, I also cut that other business. It was doing like
The wholesaling?
the wholesaling. Yeah, I was like, all right, what's the point of this? Like, let me just go in.
Businesses.
Yeah.
Damn.
So fired all my clients, and I just gave them a call and said, hey,
You kept the roofers.
no, I didn't keep the roofers. I kept the OGs.
Okay.
Like Dr. Karras, Dr. Maz. These are like guys that I like worked
took
with,
care
right?
of. Yeah.
And within 3 weeks, we went from like 10 or 15K a month after firing everyone to 50K a month. A couple months later, 100K a month. A couple months later, like 150K, 200K, 250, 300. We just kept scaling it with like the power of one. I decided to go all in on one niche, one offer, one way to acquire clients,
I have a quick question.
and we just blew up.
Why roofings out of like every single niche?
Bro, because every niche sucks. I just decided to go all in the niche that I knew I could get
A lot of appointments.
a lot of appointments and ease of access, you know?
Yeah,
Everyone-
like Sergio, you got it. I always say pick the niche that plays to your competitive advantage. And I feel like roofing was the perfect niche for Sergio because he can get a lot of appointments, which is his competitive advantage.
I know we can
Sales.
close them. Bro, the most amount of roofers we closed in a month was 70 clients. Like 70 in a
Jesus.
bro, 70. And yeah, and that taught me a big learning lesson too, because I lost a big chunk of them 2 months later. We did not have the systems in place to handle that much flow. But bro,
Yeah, but then you also took care of them, you know?
Yeah.
no, yeah, of course. There was a big chunk that we wound up refunding. But I chose roofing because I understood every niche sucks. There's no freaking magical, amazing niche. It just depends on how, like, you have to make the niche work, right?
Yeah,
Assuming it has the criteria, more than 30,000 people in the population, they sell something that's decently high ticket enough where if they get a couple customers, they'll blow up, or they'll get an ROI. And the one thing I looked for was how easy is it for me to, because I had a sales team. So I was like, how easy is it for me to get a person on the phone that me and my sales team can just close?
Mm-hmm.
And so we went all in on roofing, but we did a ton of different niches.
And
out
then,
there.
at this point, I'm like, yo, this guy literally fired most of his clients. At this point, I'm like, Sergio's not only a really good friend, but he's one of the people in my program. I'm like, yo, this guy fired 80% of his clients to go all in. This guy's a savage. So then, as soon as we met in person, I offered him equity in the business. And I said, yo, Sergio, I'm building Agency Lab. I need you to do this with me. What made you decide it was a good idea?
So that actually wasn't the first business that we partnered up in. So I just knew we were going to do business together anyway. And I saw that like Agency Lab needed help in ways that I could easily help in. So I was like, all right, yeah, it's definitely going to blow up. That's really what it was. I knew we were going to do business together, and I saw that I could actually come in and genuinely provide value.
And by the way, there's a crazy story about Sergio. One time, Marcos, my ex-business partner, was on vacation, and Omir was also on vacation. He was my sales guy. And I did not have the bandwidth to do sales, so I was like, yo, Sergio, I called Sergio up. I'm like, yo, Sergio, can you take these sales calls with chiropractors? This guy takes goes 3 for 3. He closes every single one. And he doesn't tell the chiropractors. He's like, yo, give me the demo presentation. I'm like, yo, I love this
Bro,
guy.
I didn't even know what I didn't even know what I was selling. Honestly, I didn't know what I was selling, but I knew that.
I was paying, so I was like, Sergio, I'll give you the referral credit, like $500 a month.
You know what it was? You know what it was? Is that people overcomplicate sales. They focus too much on what they're offering as opposed to the reason the person wants what you're offering, like in the first place. They have a deep, intimate pain that has to be solved. So I didn't actually know what your offer was. I just knew that chiropractors needed more patients and they had no effective way to be able to get patients. And I was like, all right, that's what I'm offering you. I don't think I gave them like the offer.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's insane.
Okay, so then we partner up, and then you essentially build the entire sales machine. And really, like your genius is people. So like you not only help me with sales, but also like leading the whole company. So
yeah, I want to talk about this for a sec because I get this question all the time. It's like, what skill? Jorge asked me yesterday.
Last night.
What skill should I go all in on? And I was like, if there's one skill that you're going to go all in on, it's the skill of understanding people. It's not sales, it's not marketing. It's like those things are great. But if you understand people, the rest of business becomes easy because all business is a different group of people exchanging money with a different group of people to solve that group of people's problems, right? So if you can understand people, you could get business, right? Because there's no business without an exchange of people's desires to, getting what they ultimately want, right? So just everyone here is in the business of people,
Yeah, and I think when I saw that, I was like, I'm gonna do whatever it takes to get Sergio on. And you know what's crazy? Sergio, everyone's like, oh, I need to get paid. I need to get paid right now. I need to get paid. Sergio literally didn't ask me for an operating agreement, nothing, which honestly, that
was kind of sketchy.
It was a mistake.
Bad idea.
Yeah,
Don't do this.
Even it just goes to show how strong Sergio's character is, but still, you should have done it.
I definitely should have done it.
But this guy worked for us for 12 months until I literally forced him to go to the bank with us.
I'll tell you
to
why.
Get him added to the bank account. This guy didn't even have access to the bank account for the first 12 months. We're making all this money. Sergio's not even in it. He's like, how do we win? The money will come.
I'll tell you why.
I literally had to force him to sign an operating agreement.
I'll tell you why. It's not that I didn't know. I knew the money was coming, right? But there's 2 reasons. One, I don't do business with people I don't fuck with in the first place, right? So I knew I wasn't going to get screwed over. But, dude, I'm a big vision guy. And I was like, all right, I saw what Agency Lab can be. I was just too busy trying to get it there to even think about signing a contract. Now, again, I don't recommend this. You should fucking sign a contract with anyone.
Yeah.
But I was just... Bro, we wound up blowing up Agency Lab in like such a rapid pace. I didn't have time to think about freaking, oh crap, let me make sure I sign this agreement and get 50%. But bro, it was just like, we're in the right vehicle at the right time. Let's capitalize on it while the vehicle's here. And it wound up being, the right move.
So like you scaled your agency to a few hundred clients.
Yeah. We worked with a total of like 450 clients.
Wow.
Not all roofers. I would say maybe 200, 250 was roofers.
Wow.
That's pretty good. It's all right.
He says that's pretty good.
Yeah.
All right, Tony, what do you want to ask the legend Sergio Tavares?
I think you gave really good perspective on like business partner. I feel like a lot of people starting out, they always look for like business partner. I know Joel is a big.
I'll tell you my thoughts on business partners. And this is going to be a little bit of contradictory or conflicting advice for maybe what Joel believes, but I believe that
Joel loves partners.
Joel loves partners, which is great, right?
Yeah.
And I understand why, but it was a blessing that I didn't have partners in the agency because look, when you're the CEO, you want to be able to understand how the entire thing works, right? And there was 2 blessings. Number 1, I was forced to learn marketing. I was forced to learn operations. I was forced to learn client success. I was forced to learn sales, right?
Yeah.
And so I became effective at each of those, and I understood how they all worked cohesively, which allowed me to make more holistic decisions, right? Like I'm not just seeing it from a marketing perspective. I'm not just seeing it from a sales perspective. I'm able to see the entire picture and how they all interconnect. So I think that I actually recommend everyone have at least one business when you're just getting started that you do it without a partner, because the skill sets that you develop, your ability to be able to critically problem solve in that short period of time is going to be key down the line. Down the line, you should partner with people because you get there quicker. It also creates quicker decision making. That's the second thing that I also learned because I didn't have anyone in the agency to bounce an idea off of. So it got to the point where I was like, I have this idea, let's do it. Boom. Next day it was already executed on. Whereas if you have partners, sometimes it can get a little bit political. You have to run it by them. You begin to second guess if you could do it. Whereas if I fucked up, it was 100% on me. But if I succeeded, it also was 100% on me. You know?
That makes sense.
I think if you have a bigger business vehicle, partners will allow you to go farther together. Even though you're giving up in the short term, you're making significantly more in the long run. So like one of my sayings is I'd rather have a tiny piece of the world's biggest pie than having the whole pie and it's the world's tiniest fucking pie.
Yep. If you look at Amazon, I think Jeff Bezos owns like 11% of it.
Yeah.
But you also need to have a big kitchen.
Yeah. It has to be enough of you have to be in the right vehicle.
That bakery must be pretty big.
In order, business partners become effective when you're in a vehicle that can allow for multiple drivers. Mm-hmm. If not, then you're better off not. If it's an agency, unless you are horrible at one aspect of it that's mandatory, like marketing or like sales, then there's no reason for you. Then there's no reason for you to partner.
Yeah.
But I think in SMMA, if you are really good at sales, for example, but you're terrible, and you can't even figure out fulfillment, honestly, it's easier just to partner. And there's been people that we've recommended to just partner and after that, it just ends up blowing up for them. Mm-hmm. All right, what other questions you got for Sergio?
What questions do you have? I just asked one. You should like rotate one each.
George, what questions do you have? I want to hear from you.
Yeah.
You can.
Like the questions we were asking yesterday.
How do you go from 6 to 7 figures, and then how do you go from 7 to 8 figures?
Break down the 0 to 6, 6 to 7, 7 to 8. Like,
and then your plan for 8 to 9.
Yeah.
So
that's hard. That's hard.
Zero to your first 100K is literally these two things: getting your mindset right.
Yeah.
Like get over your own bullshit. Everyone gets we get in our head about simple things. That's the first thing. And then the second thing that you need to do is develop skills. Mm-hmm. Those two things, it's almost like impossible. And assuming you're in the right vehicle, it's almost impossible which SMMA is.
Yeah.
Getting started. It's almost impossible that you won't get to your first 100K a month. If you cultivate a mindset that could handle the stress that's never gonna come, that is willing to get smacked in the face, but then smack back. It's like these are the type of things that you need. And then the skill sets. Learn sales, learn stress management, learn about people, learn marketing. Those few things can get you to the point where you're doing 6 figures a year. To go from 6 to 7, there's two things now that you for sure need. You need to outsource where you are lacking. So, for example, my first hire was not a sales guy. My first hire was marketing people. And I'm actually pretty good at marketing, but I knew that if I spent more time with the people in sales, then we would blow up. So I hired for where I was not the best at.
That makes sense.
And so to go from 6 to 7 figures, you have to be willing to relinquish. You have to build out a team. That's the next thing. And then to go from 7 to 8 figures,
Is there any other levers you're pulling to go from 6 to 7?
It's very, very tactical stuff. You need to have a proven acquisition method, and you have to have one product you're selling over and over and over and over again. When I told you we closed 70 clients, they were all going through it was machined. They were going through the exact same process, getting the exact same fulfillment, and the exact same ads. It was a repeatable, duplicatable process that we rolled out to everyone. So you need that. And you need one proven method to acquire clients.
How do you go from 7 to 8?
7 to 8, you have to you're in a phase where now leaders create leaders. You have to become the person that is building leaders within the company. Because what happens is, remember I said earlier, decision making becomes quicker?
Yeah.
All businesses is a series of constant decision making, right? But I have to now pass off the ability for you to make effective decisions almost the exact same way I would have, if not better.
That makes sense.
So you want your marketing team to be better than what you would be a marketer. You want your sales manager to be better than you are at sales, et cetera. So it's getting your team skills to level up. Now from 8 to 9.
Wait, what else? 7 to 8. I feel like there's more.
There's definitely more. It's just
there
has to be more.
I think to go from 7 figures to 8 figures, you need leverage. Leverage can come through your brand. Leverage can come through.
Before even leverage, you need to be in the right vehicle. Some people that I talk to, they want to go from 7 figures to 8, but they're in a niche that has 3,000 people, right?
Yeah.
Now it's not impossible to get to 8 figures, but in order for you to get to 8 figures in a niche that has 3,000 people, you need to literally close everyone and continue to upsell
the
them.
TAM is very low.
So you need to be in the right vehicle. You need to have the right team in place. You got to get them to now make decisions and essentially you have to have created leaders. And then yes, you definitely need leverage. Leverage can come in the form of people like we've all been talking about.
Yeah.
Like having managers in place. Leverage can also come in the form of media, building a brand. Like people starting to build a brand when they're two clients in a niche that they don't even know if they're going to be in 6 months. That's kind of stupid. You need to, at that point, you need to focus on getting appointments, closing those appointments, and that's it. Everything else does not even freaking matter. Don't get distracted by the things that you think down the line you're going to need. Focus on the things that you know for a fact right now is going to move the needle.
I think to go from 7 to 8 figures, you also need to scale horizontally or vertically. So for example, let's say that you've been working with chiropractors. You have an agency doing $250K a month. If you want to get it to 8 figures, you can either sell the chiropractors more things. Let's say that you've been selling them Facebook ads. You can now sell them TikTok ads and SEO and increase LTV. And now you're selling more products to one audience, or you can scale horizontally and be like, okay, well, we've been working with chiropractors. We haven't even touched physical therapists and they're pretty similar. Why don't we go after that entire market? And now instead of having one agency doing $250K a month, you have essentially one agency with 4 subdivisions that tackle similar niches. Maybe one does physical therapy, maybe one does pain management, maybe one does chiropractors, maybe one does dentists. So I think you also need to either expand your total addressable market by going horizontally or figure out how to increase LTV and go up the ladder vertically.
I rolled out a back-end program in Agency Lab. We were doing like maybe $150K a month.
No, you're doing like 250.
Was it 250? We were like maybe doing, all right, so it's like 250. And we decided to roll out a back end, essentially selling something else to the people that you already have, which is what Joel's talking about. And within like 2 months, maybe 3 months, we went from 250 to like 700K.
Damn.
And dude, we just
That was the main lever that we pulled.
Yeah, all it was us rolling out something else to sell to your clients. Like for me, I would upsell clients on SEO, I would upsell clients on different locations. I would upsell clients on more ad spend. Like
Yo, give us that real quick. Share that game. Like, how do you upsell clients on SEO? I know you had a crazy strategy.
I'm sure I watched it.
So here's what we did for SEO. First of all,
for anyone in the SMMA niche, this is some fire.
For anyone in the SMMA niche, this is how you blow up. So first and foremost, the time that you should be upselling is always, assuming you have a proven acquisition method and you have one way to acquire clients and it's working. And fulfillment is relatively dialed in. I'd say 80% dialed in. So what we did is on the onboarding call, we would offer clients SEO for free for 3 months.
3 months?
3 months free.
And
So they didn't pay anything. Now keep in mind, SEO cost me, when I did it outsourced, it was like $500. In-house, I brought in a guy who was paying a salary. But when I outsourced it, it was $500 to white label SEO.
a month?
A month.
Each client.
So it sounds like, why would you be willing to offer SEO for free for 3 months? What's the math?
$1,500 cost.
The math is not mathing. What is it? Doesn't make sense. It's not
The
adding up.
math is not mathing.
The math is not mathing.
Even Tony's confused.
And he's an Asian. But here's the key. Here's the key. So
love you, Tony.
So we went. I love Tony. So I would go in the red.
All right, that's
I
not
would,
kind of sexual. Relax.
I would offer our clients I would offer our clients 3 months of SEO free on the onboarding call. Okay, on the onboarding call.
Damn, before they've even gotten results.
Before they even got results, that's the best time to sell someone because they're still excited. They're in that state.
Yes, upsell when they're excited.
They're like, oh my God, this is gonna work. This is great. I just resold them on the onboarding call. At the end, I was like, hey, by the way, we also have an SEO program, and for select clients, we are more than happy. For the ones that we believe we can crush in your market, we just give you a 3 month trial. After 3 months, you can cancel, no problem. Now, here's what's interesting. Everyone knows for SEO, it takes you 3 to 6 months for you to see results anyway, right? Like it takes you the first 3 or 6 months, you're not gonna see much results. And that's the moment in which your clients complain when it comes to SEO because they're not seeing any results.
Yeah.
So
we're working on something to get you results faster, but that'll come out soon.
So I would pay them $500. I would go in the red $500 for 3 months. And then the contingency was if they didn't cancel within the first 3 months, they would sign a year-long contract.
Oh fuck.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
But
so good.
But 3 months
Yeah.
in, nobody remembers we signed up for SEO.
And here's genius. You also make sure that they get through that initial 90-day period
that's
where
the
most
key.
people cancel. You know what's crazy? We analyzed all of our SMMA clients and we realized if people make it past 90 days, they stay on for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
If most people cancel within the first 90 days.
Yeah.
So now you're also incentivizing people to get through the 90 days because they're getting SEO
It's
for
free.
free. And you could even mark up your ad retainer by $500. So if you're charging $1,500, charge $2K, and then it just covers that cost. But now they're like, oh shit, if I stay on and get this thing for free, and then you lock them into 12 months, and it's not just 12 months for SEO, it's also 12 months for ads.
Which means that the results they're going to get is exponentially better, right? But for those of you guys who are wondering, hey, I don't know how to do SEO. Should I only do this for SEO? We did the exact same thing with other services or other locations. So for example, when we were doing Facebook ads, we also upsold Instagram ads on the onboarding call. Now, for those of you guys who do Facebook
this
ads,
was
no.
before when they didn't.
Yeah, it's the
like,
same
first,
shit.
like,
For those of you guys who don't know, Instagram ads at that time was just like a click of a button on the ads
Ads manager.
Ads manager, yeah. It was like a click, and boom. Now you can just add in Instagram. So we would give away Instagram for free for the first 30 days. So we'd advertise on Instagram and on Facebook. They spend an extra $500 that went towards Instagram ads, right? So they'll say they're paying you $2,500 normally with your management fee and ad spend, and now an extra $500, they're at $3K. But now because they're spending twice as much, they're going to get twice as good of a result. And 30 days later, the way it always worked is if you didn't cancel 30 days in, then it would just upcharge you the extra management fee, which was $1,000 to add in.
It's genius.
To add in
It's
Instagram.
It's essentially like test drive it with a locked-in contract.
And it's the simplest thing to do because it's literally from a fulfillment standpoint, a click of a button, and now you could add in Instagram.
Genius.
Yeah, it's so smart.
Yeah, that was one of the like essentially it's like the love it or leave it offer. You tell someone, hey, try it out. If you don't love it, you can leave. And then it locks them in for a long-term contract. But psychologically, you keep them past the initial 90 days and now they're in.
W.
All right. So what's the plan to go from 8 to 9?
Let me just say this. Everything that we went over sounds very, very simple, but why don't people do it?
Because it's hard as shit.
No, it's simple execution. Why don't people do it?
I don't know.
Why do you think people don't do it? Joel?
You know, I always say business is not easy, but it is simple. And while it's simple, it's also very hard. So I think sometimes the simplest things to do are also the hardest things to do for most people. That's what comes to mind for me.
You literally just say like empty words.
What's up?
Never mind.
The fuck?
No, I was gonna say you just say like a bunch of like.
No, I think simple. It's like, yo, is it simple? Yeah, let me ask you
You
this.
pretty much say like it's simple, but
It
it's
is simple,
not
but it's
at the
all right.
same time. Like
No, it is. All right. Let me explain. Going to the gym every single day and eating well and getting good sleep is simple. It's not fucking building a rocket that's gonna land back on itself.
Yeah.
But it's hard. Most people don't do it. It's hard. It's like it's still hard to do it consistently over a long period of time. Like,
That makes
I
sense.
can't tell you how
does it
many.
make sense now?
I can't tell you how many people I've taught that
What
strategy.
is it? It's like, bro, how do we get the sleep and the food in the gym? It's not like you're building a rocket that's gonna land back on itself. That's like extremely complicated. It's a simple strategy. It's literally as simple as this. It's just you're one decision away. You decide you want to do it. You add it to your onboarding presentation, and boom, it's done. But again, simple is hard.
I think it's because I've taught that strategy to, I mean, at this point, hundreds
Are those words empty?
hundreds of people.
Those are good words.
But nobody ever executes on it.
Up, Tony. That was
And then when I call them out on it,
Yo, drop a 1 in the comments if you think those were empty words. Drop a 2 if you're Team Joel. Actually, put Team Tony in the comments because
bro, initially it was empty words.
It was empty
It was
words.
definitely-
Bro, Joel,
it was like the sky is blue because it's blue, and
yeah, but then I explained it scientifically.
yeah, no, you were like, it's simple, but like for people it's hard. I'm like, but then it's simple. I was like, well, what the fuck? And then when you explain it,
Bro,
it makes sense.
You want to know what I tell people all the time? Like, the hardest part of my job is not giving people the Instagram DM script or the paid ad or the cold email script. It's getting them to believe in themselves and actually sending it out.
Yeah.
That's it. Bro, I could literally give someone a copy and paste business. And I do. I give people the actual scripts. I'm like, yo, here's exactly what you want to do if you want to make money, if you want to get appointments, if you want to blow up. Why don't they do it? I literally write the script. I even say, hey, this one's verified, approved by me. I wrote it.
Bro, the problem is, I'll tell you what the problem is. Agency owners, the entire market, like everyone else, all it is they're looking for leadership. They're looking for guidance. They want someone to believe in themselves even more so than they believe in themselves. They just want one person to believe in themselves. And if you're an agency owner out there and you're questioning, can I get to 10K a month? Am I worth it? Should I do it? Then the answer is yes. If you need one person to believe in you, then I believe in you. You know why? It's not that freaking hard.
Everything that Joel already taught worked. So I just need to do it. That was the biggest takeaway is I don't need Joel's validation of like the shit that he's teaching already. I just need to take what he's working, like modify it to fit my
That's
niche.
the hardest part.
Yeah, that's it. That's the biggest takeaway because I hopped in the call. It was the same shit that he was been teaching for the past like 3 weeks I was in the program. I was like, you know what? So if that was the done for you, then I just need to do what Joel's been telling people to do.
You were like, this is kind of basic. That means that it works.
Yeah. That's my takeaway. Is that
Yeah.
like if you're watching Joel's free content and you just do it, like it will work. You know what I'm saying? If you say it doesn't work, then it's pretty much on you, and you just fucking cheeks at business.
You said cheeks?
Yeah.
Is that a new slang?
That's kind of old slang.
Yeah.
Pieces like you're trash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yo, what were you saying?
But no, that's pretty much it.
How do we go from 8 to 9?
Okay. To go for 8 to 9, and I almost say this kind of reluctantly because I don't want to distract everyone here. You're not going to build a 9-figure SMMA. I'm sorry to tell you. It's just not going to happen. I mean,
You're not?
tell me one SMMA out there that got to the point where it's doing 9 figures.
Iman Gotsi.
Yeah, but
I'm playing.
yeah, like maybe you can mention Gary V's, right? But Gary V doesn't.
For every Gary V, there's
tens and tens of thousands of people who just get to the point where they're doing 100K a month in their agency, right? Or not 10,000, but
Gary V is not an SM. He's like a media.
he's more of like a consulting firm more than anything else. And he has some form of of execution out there.
You could say he's a 9-figure agency, but he's again like that's the exception, not the rule.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I say this reluctantly because that's the first thing. You're probably not going to build a 9-figure SMMA, and that's fine because you shouldn't. If it's your very first business, you should just simply focus on getting it to 7 figures because it's more than doable. And before 7 figures, just focus on getting to your first 10K. Yesterday, you were asking me, how do I make 100 million? I was like, how do you make 1,000, bro? Get to the point where you're doing 1,000, you know? Like that, like step one first.
1,000 a day.
Everyone wants to climb the mountain. It's like, bro, one step at a time. That's the key. But to go from 8 to 9, you need to be in a truly more leveraged vehicle like software, or tech. If you look at the world's biggest billionaires, if you go down the billionaire list, they're always in finance. They're real estate, tech,
or massive brands.
Brands, but that's like or like in some form of investing. Like that's pretty much it. There's no other vehicles that are going to get you to the point where you're doing 9 figures. But for the majority of people watching this, that's not where you're at. And you have to be humble to yourself and understand that that's just not you right now. And that's fine. You will get to the point where you're getting there. When I was younger, I had this big grandiose vision. I was like, I'm going to be a billionaire by 19. I literally was you. Bro, I was literally you. I was like, I'm going to be a freaking billionaire by the time I'm 19. And mind you, I had a business at 14, 15, 16. And at 16, it was doing pretty well. Like I was making more money than literally my freaking teacher did. But it was a mistake for me to try to get into a $1 billion vehicle without becoming the person that even had the 7-figure skill set.
Damn.
You understand?
That was cool.
And then I got the 7-figure skill set. Now I became the person worthy of the 8. That's the process for it. How does someone go from 8 to 9? It's vehicle. It's truly the vehicle, and I'll tell you why. What I've found is there's no difference between. I've talked to some people that are like the very first billionaire I met. I think I was like 19 or 20. There's a guy named Steve Blank. He was hosting an event from like some entrepreneurship thing that I was a part of, and I freaking ran on stage. I was like Tony, just like a go-getter. I'm gonna make it happen. I ran on stage, like through security. I'm not even kidding. And I said, "Hey." I shook his hand. His name was Steve Blank. And he like that moment when I shook this guy's hand, it freaking dawned on me. I was like, well, hold on, this guy's a billionaire, but he's no different from me. He's no different, but he was in a better vehicle. So and if you look at like, I'm not saying that to get to 9 figures, you don't have to be intelligent, you have to work hard, you don't have to be, of course, absolutely.
But for for example, Tony Robbins does 9 figures. Grant Cardone does 9 figures in coaching. But for every Tony and Grant Cardone, there's hundreds of software entrepreneurs that hit 9 figures.
Yeah.
Yep.
So are you going to be the 1 or 2 people in an entire industry to hit it? Or are you going to change industries and be one of the few hundred that hit 9 figures?
That makes sense.
Yep. But the key is to be humble with where you're at, right? Like if you don't have a lot of money saved up and if you don't have any skills, then it's probably not the right move just yet for you to try to get into a $1 billion vehicle. The reason I let go of that big crazy vision when I was 19 is because I became more realistic. Business is a hard world. It'll smack you in the face. It'll freaking humble you. It'll teach you a lot about you that you don't even know. I think it's the ultimate personal development tool. I genuinely believe that. The ultimate personal development tool.
I believe it too.
But it's a forever game, which is part of the reason why I love it. But at 19, it just humbled me. That's all it was. I was like, okay, this guy's a billionaire. He's no different from me, but there's definitely some things that he knows that I don't know. And at that moment, it flipped something in me, and I was like, all right, I got to go for 7 figures first, then 8, then $9 billion will come.
That was good.
So Sergio, we got to close things off. So what else do you want to share with people? What do people need to know? And then where can people find you?
What's one piece of advice that you would give to the audience? It doesn't have to be one piece.
And what's one piece of advice that you would give to your younger self?
Yeah. 2 questions.
Yeah, and then let's call it a day.
Yeah. I know you guys got to go to the airport. You're fine. We're actually in Miami here. I mean, you guys can tell the background.
Sergio's apartment building.
Yeah. Looking back at my 14-year-old self, I think there's a few things the number one thing I would have told myself back then was you for sure have what it takes. Don't second guess it. It's there, but be patient. You know, when Gary Vee talks about patience, blah, blah, blah. I'm not a fan of, I believe you should be impatient in the day-to-day, very, very patient long-term. But day-to-day, the people who make the most money have this, they wake up with an aggression. I want to make money today. I'll share a quick story to close things off. This is maybe a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, I in our Slack channel, I just texted our team. I said, hey guys, we're going to make 50K today. And on average, we were maybe getting 15K a day, 20K a day. I literally said, Tony, bro, today I'm making 50K. Watch. And you know how we said earlier, you have to put your money where your mouth is? I told the team for every hour that passes that I don't get 50K, I'm going to put my own money on the line. I think it came up to 10K or 20K or 30K or something like that. I kept doubling down.
And we had an entire leadership weekend planned to meet in Dallas. And Sergio says, sorry, guys.
Sorry, got to fucking focus. Got to fucking focus.
This guy canceled his flight.
Literally. So I woke up that day and I made a decision. What I love about the word decision means to cut off all other options. I said, I'm getting to 50K a day today, or there's no or. It's it's going to happen.
Yeah.
And what I love about decision making is when you make a decision, you've really made a decision. Your brain finds the solution. It's like a freaking navigating system. It's that's the play because I made a decision. I have to do that. So I went rampant and I put my money where my mouth is because I needed to have skin in the game. I told the rest of the team, if I don't do this every hour that passes, I'm paying you another 10K. I'm paying you out of my own pocket, not Agency Labs, my own pocket. I'm paying you 10K. And I remember it was maybe 7, 8 p.m. and we were 35K, which sounds great, right? It's oh, great. You're 35K. You should. I was like, no, we need 50. Remember I told you the navigating system that your brain cultivates when you make a decision?
This guy locked it in.
Bro, my brain literally told me the answer. Boom. Oh, you have old people in your phone that you could upsell.
Not old people, as in
I don't mean old like older. I don't mean older old. I mean you have past clients.
Yeah.
You have past clients that you could just go in and quickly make them an offer, get them inside of Agency Lab or our backend program, and that's the quickest money you have.
Yeah.
And we hit 50. I think we hit over 50K that day.
But with 13, it was like I actually had gone to sleep.
Buzzer beater, bro. It was a
I was
buzzer
like,
beater.
yo, they're not gonna hit it. It was 11:30 p.m.
Yeah. And I
get a text at 11. I'm literally in bed ready to go to sleep. I get a text at 11:48 p.m. with 12 minutes left. Sergio hits it.
Yep. So I even text my assistant. I said, "Hey, I want you to have access to my bank account, so you don't think I'm bullshitting. If we don't hit it, the team is getting paid out 40K. It's just theirs."
And it was Jared Curry, right?
The last person the last person I upsold was Jared Curry. I think so.
For those of you guys that have been watching the channel, we just interviewed Matt and Jared literally, you can verify with them. We hit up Jared and we said, yo, if you want to renew for our mastermind for an entire year, we'll give you a discount if you pay right now.
But I wouldn't have come up with that creative idea unless I made that initial
Shout out to
decision.
Jared, by the way.
Unless I made that initial decision. So the question everyone here has to ask themselves is, what decision do I have to make to get to the level I want to get to? Or in other words, what do I have to cut off to get there? I think all of this, all the success that you have been waiting for is simply one decision away. But you've been afraid to make it.
Damn.
Well, guys,
That was hard. That was really
guys,
really good.
I have a lot of love for Sergio. He's a brother to me, business partner, and
He looks good.
he's more muscular than me. All natty, by the way.
Yeah.
If you're
Yeah,
if you,
no
yo,
roids,
if
guys,
you,
no
if you
roids.
think he's natty, drop natty in the comments. If you think he's not
No
natty,
roids.
put not natty in the comments.
No roids. I promise no roids. Genuinely, you guys can test me. No roids.
Yeah, guys, literally, I've gone through everything in his house trying to find some shit. Nothing. This guy's has a clean track record. But guys, have a lot of love, a lot of respect for Sergio. He is the reason, really, that we've been able to have so much success. And I encourage every single person watching this video to go follow him on Instagram and subscribe to his YouTube channel. We're going to make sure he starts posting a lot more content. So make sure to subscribe, make sure to follow him. And you promise more content? Because he's busy building the business.
All right, deal.
A little bit more?
No more content. If I don't, I'll put my money where my mouth is.
Yo.
I practice what I preach. If I don't start posting content, Tony?
Yeah. 10K.
Tony?
10K.
All right, 10K. Deal. Now we have no choice. You're
right.
mad because you're like 3 seconds late, bro.
All right. So more content from Sergio. Make sure to subscribe to his channel, follow him on Instagram. And that's pretty much it. Peace.
Peace.